Occasionally, interviewers push the boundaries with their questions, causing celebrities to flip out. Just like when this interviewer angered boxing icon Mike Tyson by suddenly mentioning his criminal history.
We know you were convicted. This could hurt his campaign. How would you respond to that? Hey, I don't know who said that. You're the only one I heard say that. You know what I mean? And I don't have no comment to that, you know, because it's negative and you're being negative.
Although the interviewer swiftly attempted to steer the conversation elsewhere, the damage was done. Tyson was visibly enraged and had a fiery outburst on live TV.
You come across like a nice guy, but you're really a piece of
Hey,
with that
come
comment.
on.
No, that was a piece of That was a piece of
You know, we're doing live TV
Man,
now.
I don't care. What are you going to do about it?
Despite Tyson's manager's attempts to salvage the interview, even he was powerless to halt the boxer's relentless tirade.
Is it nerve-wracking for you to do something like this, or is it more nervous for you to box? How does it compare?
I don't know. It's more nerve-wracking for me to hear us talking to a rat piece of shit like you.
Come on, Mike.
No, because you're a piece of shit.
All right,
You really didn't have to.
we're gonna wrap up this interview. Thank you for coming in.
And while it must have been nerve-wracking to face an angry Mike Tyson, this next interviewer seemed noticeably tense while interviewing Robert Downey Jr., as he prepared to ask an evidently inappropriate question.
Yeah, well, okay, well then let me just ask you a few more questions and you can answer them if you want to and not if you don't want to. I mean, well, I think we've got 3 more minutes on our agreement.
Your foot's starting to jump a little bit. You better get to your next question.
Despite RDJ's visible irritation, interviewer Krishnan Guru Murthy pressed on, eventually crossing a line by asking about the actor's troubled relationship with his father.
You've talked in other interviews again about your relationship with your father and the role of all of that in, the dark periods you entered and taking drugs and drinking and all of that. And I just wondered whether, you think you're free of all of that, or whether that's still something.
I'm sorry, I really don't. What are we doing?
Downey was evidently thrown off by the intensely personal questioning, ultimately deciding he had had enough and abruptly ending the interview.
You seem okay. It's just getting a little dinosaur in your.
No, look, I don't want to do that.
The next clip is even more cringeworthy as a local news anchor mistakenly confuses Samuel L. Jackson with another black actor, Lawrence Fishburne.
Super Bowl commercial. Did you get a lot of reaction to that Super Bowl commercial?
What Super Bowl commercial?
Oh, you know what? I've been my mistake.
See, you're as crazy as the people on Twitter.
Right.
I'm not Lawrence Fishburne.
That's my fault. I know that. That was my fault. My mistake. You know what?
We don't all look alike.
In another explosive moment, actor Mel Gibson loses his temper with interviewer Dean Richards when Richards unexpectedly brings up the controversies surrounding Gibson's career.
Do you think that the public will perceive you any differently after all that's been in the news about you?
What are you referring to specifically?
Referring to the drinking problems, referring to what's been called the anti-Semitic rant, referring all those things. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay, so that's almost 4 years ago, dude. I mean, I've moved on. I guess you haven't.
Meanwhile, radio host Jim Rome deliberately provoked NFL quarterback Jim Everett by calling him Chris, referring to the female tennis player Chris Evert.
Jim, good to have you on the show.
Good to be here, Jim. Thank you.
Check that. Chris Everett, good to have you on the show.
You know what? You've been calling me that for about the last 5 years.
About 2 years, actually, Chris.
Well, but if you call me Chris Everett to my face one more time...
I already did it twice.
You call one more time, we better take a station break.
Well, it's a 5-minute segment.
You probably won't say it again.
I bet I do.
Okay.
Chris?
And with that, Everett lunges at Rome, and the two engage in a scuffle as the station cuts to a commercial break. From heated confrontations to biting humor, these interviews showcase the many ways celebrities respond to uncomfortable situations.